Welcome to the deepest, darkest archives. Peruse through heroic tales of adventure, a chat with our players and Dungeon Master, and question the questionable. All this and more in the first chapter of the Dungeon Chronicles.
I don't know if we're starting right off the bat here. We've never done this before, at least on this podcast.
Is that how we're starting?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Hey, this is...
Braxton is known for his segues.
My segues are actually terrible, especially these beginning ones. If you see me leaning, it's because I'm trying to look at myself in the camera over here. We've got a better camera.
Just look at, you gotta look in the right into the camera itself, right into the
I'll
lens.
look into your soul. Oh, God.
Into the eye of the storm.
So the setup's a bit interesting. Reason we didn't have a live stream this week. Welcome to the Dungeon Chronicles. I am your just moved into new apartment Dungeon Master, Braxton. Hey! So now we're going to be having some more, in-person content and whatnot with these lovely people.
I actually don't want to hang out with you.
Well, okay, that's the issue. You can tell I'm sitting a little bit farther than the rest of them. And that's probably why, because they don't actually like me. It's more business than fun with me. You'll see that. But today I've got, let's just go in the proper order. Ryan, don't get too upset because this isn't our traditional thing.
Oh, we're not even sitting in the right order.
We're not. We can do the right order. You know what? Let's go over there. Who's that guy? Over there, on the other side. My friend over there.
This still isn't even the right order, but okay.
What's up, everybody? I am Ryan. I play Ormano in the Dungeon Chronicles, and that's all I got because we're not doing an actual session this week.
We're not.
But passing the torch over to Jamie.
All right. That's
Skip
fine.
over.
Hey guys, it's me. You know who I am. Oh my God. And you know what I do.
Do we?
I don't know. Could you explain?
Fucking better.
Fucking dumb.
Damn.
My name's Jamie. I play Zerda.
That's true.
There you go.
Yeah. Kenneth?
Yo, what up, gamers?
All right.
I'm Kenneth. I play Salty, the Ethel Pugilist. And yeah.
What pugilist?
I heard Ethel.
Pugilist.
We're not used to this. You're not used to this. The awkward side of things. Growing pains.
Growing pains.
What do you mean
So to
growing pains, man?
I'm a grown boy.
You're not, bro.
I'm not. I haven't grown
This
an inch in
setup,
years.
This setup will be changing at some point. We're in my apartment right now because Braxton's is unfurnished.
It's under construction.
Yeah, very much so.
Very much so.
You wanna tell the story about you moving in though?
Do I really want to do that? Holy shit.
Guy?
The guy?
The
The
guy.
AC dude?
The guy.
The guy.
The guy.
Fucking guy.
The AC dude?
Yeah.
Dude, you don't want to know about the AC dude. Okay, so let me start by saying, hey, this is the Dungeon Chronicles.
said that.
I know, but we're not having our live episode today. If you notice, those of you that don't usually tune into the Twitch, Dungeon Crawl Network, by the way, we usually stream every other Monday. You would have just missed it. Twitch.tv/Dungeon Crawl Network. At 6 p.m. on those Mondays. But this time, I've been moving and it's been crazy. So we're doing our first kind of little talk show version, reflective thing, whatever. We're going to talk about characters, what we think about it, how terrible of DM I am.
We'll be missing next week as well.
Oh, shit. You're
so
right.
I have 1 week of a hiatus while Braxton figures
That's
everything
what you
out.
meant.
That's what I meant. So 1 week of a hiatus. Maybe we'll do another Waffle Cast. Probably not. We'll probably just feel things out.
We'll take a little break.
Ooh, a one shot maybe.
Could do a one shot.
That'd be a lot of fun. Hey.
So we might do something. We'll see. But we're not going to have normal Dungeon Chronicles next week because we'll be doing the next one on June 1st, I think.
Yeah, should be.
Yeah, I think it's June 1st.
Dang, that's my first day of my new job. A lot of new stuff going on. So I drove...
No, May 31st. May 31st. June 1st is Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're figuring out live, everybody.
Figuring out live. Well, not really live. That was really good.
Thank you, man.
Just kidding for a second. So I drove up 4 hours from Houston on a very rainy day where a Mustang and an 18-wheeler both crashed in front of my dad, who was taking my very valuable desk up to my apartment for me.
I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that.
Yeah, so it was raining really bad to the point where you could not see anything but the lights that were behind your friend's car, and you follow him, and hopefully you don't die. So a Mustang hit the side of the curb on the highway and tripped out in front of my dad. He calls me and says, "Watch out." And I see this guy still skidding on the concrete. And then next up, he gets 30 minutes ahead of me because he's a little better at driving in the rain, and I go a little bit safer. Safety first, people, when you're driving. And he goes, there's an 18-wheeler taking up 3 of the lanes on the highway itself, and everybody's feeding through one. You might want to take a different route. I was like, I'll be fine. Took like 45 minutes to get through it. And this entire 18-wheeler is just sideways on the road. So it was crazy to start. That was A tale of what's to
Well, every
come.
time you drive up here, there's some sort of rain
I
catastrophe.
bring the bad luck. Everything up until this point, new job, figuring stuff out, contract work to get paid in between, been going really well. Get to the apartment and it's a bit of a fixer-upper. You know, there's some water damage here and there. The AC is literally out. The internet won't turn on even though they said it's plug and play.
Well,
Just put your router in and you're
To
done.
be fair, that was user error. Because you
Don't
just
don't say that. That's not the part you're supposed to tell them.
Are you outing him right now?
Hey, look,
Well,
hey,
okay.
all right, go ahead. Yeah, let's see if he can explain it. Let's
You
go.
didn't tell me it was his fault.
Well, it was a co-op effort. So I was with him. I was looking over the material, and because with routers, a lot of times you have
It
to
was the
set
router's fault.
To be fair, it is the router's fault. So you can't connect to it wirelessly. Anything
You have to use Ethernet in order to go to the web address to set it up.
Yeah, and so you called the leasing office. You called the network supervisor people. Waited in queues that were 30, 40 minutes. Got somebody, and then
In hot AC
you
while
talked to somebody for 10 minutes. Maybe it was less
they
than
tried
that.
to get me to send a guy out here for $75, to which the leasing
that's
office
it, yeah.
literally said, that is the most bullshit I have ever
You
heard.
talked to a guy. We waited forever to get to this guy.
Yeah.
And then the guy, I guess, hung up by accident.
Oh, yeah, they did.
And that's when you gave up, like, I'm calling the leasing office again.
Yeah.
But it was ridiculous. It was like
Yeah.
an hour, maybe two, of just trying to figure this out.
During this, though, we had
Uh-huh.
the AC guy coming in. Thank God he was able to get on the same day because the AC just wasn't turning on, not even the fan. He gets in, and pretty much the moment he opens it, you hear like a loud crash because the thing swings open,
He takes it off.
and there's a little bit of silent switch. He goes, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, very quietly.
Really, like so quiet that your parents probably can't hear it. And Ryan and I just look at each other like,
Yeah, we're trying not to freak out.
and Ryan's like super curious. So anytime the guy like moves, Ryan's like, I don't want to know what's going on. And then another time he says, "Jesus Christ," under his breath. I'm like, what is wrong with my AC? He eventually fixes it. The fan turns on. It takes a while for it to heat up the apartment. Comes
Well,
back again.
when he messes with the thermostat to try to get it working again, and there's this moment where nothing happens, and you hear it kick in. He goes, "Whew." That guy was working his ass off.
He's super silent, stoic type, but he's really friendly. So
Yeah, he was
props
very
out to
nice.
Joe. Props out to Joe. And then he came back
Joe.
again
Here's to you, Joe.
today. This was all yesterday, by the way. Came
Joe,
back
I
again
know
today.
you're watching. I'm
probably
very
isn't.
proud of you.
I don't know if he's
You
in
don't know
TNT.
that?
He's been
I
over
really
to my
don't know
apartment too.
Hey.
He gets around, man. Wow.
Fuck, he knows where we are.
He fixes my stuff too.
That's true. That's true.
Rooms, man.
So he came back again today because the AC was working a little harder than it should have. He gave it another charge, and we're all set up now. I talked to leasing office as well because I just kind of wanted to swap units. But after I cleaned, had a little bit of freak out, put things into my own hands, I feel much better.
Jeez.
Here we are today.
Yeah, it's been a couple of days for you.
It's been literally
We literally
a couple
just
days.
recorded the last episode of The Crawl 3-4 days ago.
Yeah.
And you weren't moving in.
Mhm.
And then the next day you're like, hey, I just signed the lease.
Yeah, because I got the
So-
job offer that I was looking for, to which that allowed me to afford
Time
the place. It was quick. Kenneth literally said if he was doing something this fast, like this important, he'd have an aneurysm.
Yeah, man. I gotta take my time when doing things. I
You take your time, but you're the stark opposite.
Yeah, man. I
Big
gotta make
opposite.
sure all my eggs are in place.
No,
man.
that's understandable.
I get you.
gotta-
You also got a pretty sweet deal up there.
Also,
Yeah,
he
sure.
doesn't do the apartment hunting I do. So
Jamie's got the touch.
Yeah.
She gets
You
the
got
plants, the furniture.
touch. Yes.
I may actually get a rocking chair literally just for Jamie,
Please.
That's nice.
just so she can sit there and
Please.
chill
What a
out.
goblin, man.
What a goblin!
Now, I would say probably, what do you think? I wouldn't say next episode of the Chronicles of like the Dawning stuff. Maybe the one after that will be studio set up.
yeah,
Like
we're
4.5
seeing like
weeks probably.
we're seeing like 4 weeks or so because we
That's what
gotta
we're thinking.
source a table, maybe get our carpenter to work on it.
Or our carpenter.
Our,
or
the one that
we got a guy.
Yeah.
Well, he will be at that time. You know,
I
mean,
guess.
true,
Yeah.
Joe? Is Joe doing this for us?
Joe.
you know he could get in on this.
Listen,
Yeah.
Joe, if
could
you
get
need
in.
some
We shout
extra
him out
cash,
So what I want to do today is
Yeah, what are we doing here, man?
I was just about why you gotta.
I
Hey,
got it,
Braxton.
yo.
These
Good
type-
segue,
Braxton, can
Kenneth.
you tell me what we're doing?
That's right. Hey,
These
what are we
segues
doing
are an
here?
art form, and you guys are ruining
Real
them.
quick,
Oh,
I
like they
have
weren't
to tell
already?
you, this has been stuck on you.
No, I know.
Did-
I saw you put
did
it there.
know?
I decided to leave
Okay,
it.
good. I'll leave it there.
That was the bit.
It's my fashion. That was
I
the
wanted
bit.
to be sure because it was happening for so long and you didn't
Yeah.
draw attention to
No,
it.
you put it there, and I was looking right. I'm surprised you didn't see me look at it.
No, I didn't.
For audio listeners, they put a
yeah.
Oh, God.
water wrapper on Braxton.
Yeah, audio listeners. I guess it's a bit different for the Chronicles because in the crawl, we like to try to make sure it's pretty agnostic experience, whether you're on YouTube or not. But if you want to jump in on the fun right now over on YouTube, it's the Dungeon Crawl. That's our channel name. Add podcast at the end, will find us.
And if you're very confused on what Brax is saying, we have another podcast called The Dungeon Crawl.
We do.
Go check it out. We talk about D&D stuff. Next episode will be on Tuesday about Ravenloft, and Kenneth should be there if everything goes to plan.
My brain literally
Spicy.
was going
I
to
will
say
not be.
Ravenfall, but I waited for you to say it. I apologize. That's the name of a town in Ryan's game that you guys do not see.
Yeah, he keeps saying Ravenfall.
I do. So today we're going to kind of do an episode similar to all of those D&D podcasts where they kind of want to take a break and they talk about the story so far or their characters and
Never
how
seen
things
one
are
of those.
going. Never seen one of those. For those of you that listen to the Adventure Zone, it's the Adventure Zone zone. So this is
Right.
the Dungeon Chronicles. I don't know. That's not what we're calling it.
Don't sue us.
Well, don't see us. We'll figure out whatever the hell we're doing. But I wanted to first start off with just kind of a question I think might be on some people's mind if they're beginning to do a live player recording something is you guys have been players before by less eyes seeing you, but now you're doing
I
it for a
haven't.
show. Does it feel any different? Do you play differently than you would play Zerda or Mono and Salty if it weren't live?
No.
Not at all?
No. Well, I mean, were you a theater kid, Ryan?
Yeah, I was a film guy, so kind of.
Same difference.
Because we were all theater kids. So, like, we've all been in front of people. So, like, it feels like we're pretty used to it. Because, like, a camera isn't that much different from, like, a live audience. Because you still have to act like the audience is there.
Yeah,
It's the same.
very true.
So, I also love attention.
Wait, what's going on,
I don't
Ryan?
know.
The camera's
It's just
flashing.
it's flash. Okay.
We good?
Yeah, I'm
It's
just sorry for
fine.
audio listeners and video people. It's something get really close to the camera. I saw it was flashing like crazy, and then it stopped, so it made me worried.
I think
I
we're
was
okay.
trying to
I
get
did
our
see it, but I didn't want to mention it.
I'll just keep checking out.
We'll keep checking. We're okay.
This is our first time using the DSLR.
Yeah, that's very true.
To answer your question as well, Braxton.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
that.
think, yeah, of course,
As
man.
if I did
Of
not.
course.
You did.
No, I just to add a bit of layers to that, like a good onion, man.
Yeah.
I think I do play a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
'Cause-
Different answer here.
Yeah, because I don't play that much as a player. I do play in like one campaign, but other than that, it's one-offs. I'm usually more of a DM. But playing Salty and like playing for a show, it kind of puts the pressure on me to like not ham it up or anything, but to keep stuff happening, like to keep stuff moving forward. Because like I know you guys have probably done this or DM for this or been a part of a group that just sits there the whole session trying to decide what they want to do.
Yeah.
Right. And
For sure.
I just I want to try to make stuff just like happen. Right. I don't want to sit on my laurels too much.
Sit on your loins.
Yeah. When with other characters, it'd be like, wait, no, let's not be hasty. Like we need to think out all our options.
Yeah, I will say him responding made me realize there's exactly one thing.
She lied.
Yeah, well, there's one thing that I act differently on the podcast is I am nasty when I play like in the regular
Dude,
game.
bring that in.
I'm no
I love
because
that.
Hang on, define nasty.
it
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
like dark. Like I'm very big on like body horror and like disgusting descriptions of stuff. I'm really big on that. And I have tried to not get as nasty as I usually
like
would.
describing combat. Is that what you mean?
Describing combat and also just in general. I'm a nasty person.
I mean, I've played exactly one game with one or two. I don't know. It's been it's been
you've
a very
played
small
games
numbers.
With me where I was playing super tame characters. I've played fucked up characters. Like,
Maybe she should
Yeah.
censor.
No, yeah, Kenneth has listened to me explain, like, whenever
my
we were
God.
doing Curse of Strahd, my character did some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
I mean, as the DM, I'll say I'm open to that. We have our podcast marked as mature, so
I just don't want to, like, gross people out if they're squeamish.
you test things out.
'cause
Test the
I'm-
waters, yeah.
I'm not
Waters.
squeamish, but, like, he is sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if is Zerda the type of person that would be like that? Maybe out of just like
just
ignorance.
nasty? She'd be nasty. She's a little freak, dude.
Nasty.
All right.
I do want to note too, just kind of giving you guys an insight as to other people's. Oh, sorry, Frank, I was about to say something.
Well, no, I don't want to interrupt your.
No, you're good. It's a different train of thought.
Okay, well, you think you keep that in your head. I
probably
was just
will
gonna
lose it.
say that I've never. This is my second time ever being a player.
Scoot in that frame, my child.
I'm in the frame, man.
Cuddle
We're leading
Kenneth.
the way.
I'm in the frame.
Yeah.
It's like I got to get to a certain angle so I can see everybody too. When
All
I'm
right, okay.
So I've never been a player for an extended period of time. I've been in one shots, and I was in one session of Braxton's first campaign he ever ran. But that was basically like a one shot. I didn't play another session of it. So I think about kind of what Jamie was saying about theater, that you want to kind of move things along, like improv theater. You can't just be sitting there and doing nothing. You got to try to at least engage. So I like engaging the players, talking to us about different events that are happening. I feel like if I were not doing like a live production thing, I probably would be, I don't know, maybe a little more reserved about. I don't know. I feel like
I get what you're saying.
I might do the same. I don't know.
For you in particular, and this will be a segue into what I'm going to say about Jamie's characters that she's played that I've seen firsthand, but Ryan's had some horror stories with his players taking a while to make decisions.
Yes,
We've talked about it on the Dungeon Crawl,
I've told the story a couple times.
Probably even on here before, but basically hours of discussion just to jump in and disregard all of it. I'm sure all of you have experienced this before, so you're probably a bit more susceptible to that too. But I can definitely see it in y'all's brains whenever we're playing and something's kind of unraveling a bit slower. It helps a lot as a DM when you've got players that are minded that way. Not that it's bad to take your time, but when you're running a show and everybody's
important.
Yeah, and everybody's on the same page, it works really well.
Well, yeah, because you throw out a hook and you're that we're most likely going to like take that hook. Right?
Yeah. I think the time we've taken the longest at was probably with oh my god, I can't remember his name. We're in the forest.
Marlo?
Marlo.
But that was fun.
We had the different paths to choose from, and we were just kind of semi-planning. I think it's the longest we've ever taken for something. Yeah, it wasn't that long.
It didn't feel that long at all.
It worked well too because Marlo, this Hydra that they've only seen the heads of, and I guess the tummy at some point.
Hopefully, if you're listening to this, you've watched the.
If you haven't, what are you doing?
There might be spoilers here.
Pause this right now.
I mean, we can't talk about our characters without spoiling stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. Just censor everything.
Well, basically, the NPC was a part of it, so I think it worked for the show itself.
Yeah.
We do tend more to like actual play rather than like the episodic side of it where Taz kind of goes. It was a big thing we mulled over when we first made this. But going back to the thing that Ryan told me to keep in my brain regarding Jamie is, did it just leave my brain the second I went there? It basically went to Zerda is way more reserved to me than the other characters you play. And she's more quiet.
Yeah, you've seen me play Robert and you've seen me play Maveen, if you can remember her from however long ago.
And Aster, we did a one shot the other day.
Oh yeah, Aster. Okay, well Aster is a
she's a lot.
What is it called?
A bitch?
Yes, but
Artificer.
I always want to call it an archivist, and that's so wrong.
It's very different.
So I built her kind of smart. Maveen was wise. And Robert is moderately smart and wise. Zerda is the stupidest bitch I've ever played.
Damn.
And it's like, I love her for it because she is the dumbest character I've ever played. And that makes me really happy because that means that, like, from a show wise, I can just be silly and like do whatever the fuck, and it makes sense and it's fun. But also, like, I have a tendency when I play a smart character to overthink things a lot because I'm like, I want to analyze every option of everything. But with Zerda, it's like, what seems the most fun? And then I'll just do that.
Yeah.
Well, even with, like, Zerda, like, your other characters, you just talk more, right? Yeah. Zerda's more like...
Because she's dumb.
Well, being dumb doesn't mean you don't talk a lot.
I was just surprised because I thought you were either nervous or you just didn't talk as much as you do IRL.
That's exactly how I'm playing her. But it's also, in our home game, I talk a lot.
Mm-hmm, you do. I was so surprised.
Yeah,
Aster really surprised me.
Because I love, like Kenneth, I love hearing my own voice. But... with Zerda, I was trying to be like, whenever people are talking, I'm like, she wouldn't understand this, so she'd have nothing to say.
Interesting. Yeah, but, I mean, I'm just happy to have players that put that much thought behind how they role play.
I put a lot of thought behind somebody who has no thoughts.
There you go. So that was something that really stood out to me is how you guys are different from other players you've played. Okay, so that's probably a hard cut that you just experienced right there. It's kind of a christening for people that are on YouTube and do things in video format to say, my battery died.
Yeah, the battery said fully charged, is all I'm going to say.
So we'll see how much this one lasts.
But fuck that battery.
Hey,
to be fair, I've had this DSLR and those batteries for like 10 years. So
I'm glad you have them because we look so pretty today. So I guess, did you guys have any expectations going into this from like the pitch I had and before you've even really been with me as a DM or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I'll say right now that I didn't think we would be spending this much time in Waymore.
That's very true.
I thought we were just gonna go to the starting town, spend like a session or two there, and then go to the Event Horizon, right?
Yeah.
I was not expecting us to be spending 7?
We've been there
episodes?
for
We've been there for a hot
pretty
minute,
much.
and we're still there right now. So not that I don't mind it, but I would just didn't expect it.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't have a plan for how long you'd be there. I just didn't know it would be for this amount of time. I think I just got really comfortable with the NPCs and had some plot hooks that I wanted to use to build out the world a little bit, as this is kind of the tutorial in a sense.
Well, and do you feel more pressured? Not that we're been at Waymore for a while, just to introduce more NPCs at Waymore than you usually would?
Probably. I don't really have a quota for introducing NPCs, I would say, but I don't want any episode to feel like nothing happened. And we're about to have a dinner to which logically these characters have some connections throughout the world and some debts they wanted to call on. So it just kind of worked out with the people that you saw last episode, for those that are caught up, which was a lot of fun for me to write in. But I mean, is that a bad thing that we've been there for too long?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't say so.
I mean, it's not bad. It's just not what I was expecting. Right?
Yeah.
I'll say I've played plenty of games where I was stuck in a town for a while, and it has never been this fun to be stuck in a town. Because there are plenty of times where I've been stuck in a town and I'm like, okay, come on, I want to go somewhere, literally anywhere else. But with this, it's like, I want to go somewhere.
This is Kenneth's game.
What are you saying,
I'm not saying you were the DM.
All right.
To be fair, Kenneth is a really great DM. I've been in a couple of the sessions. I'm
Gassing him up.
Blushing.
Blushes.
Hey, I can't let him kill me tomorrow. We're gonna fight a lich of some sort.
Fuck.
So we're gonna see.
Right? So it'll be interesting. We all play a lot of D&D right now, and probably more so now that we're all here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Play the same amount as always.
Me and Kenneth play 2 to 3 times a week.
Though I did do a different one shot, I guess.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting because whenever we first got to Waymore, I remember after we finished those sessions, I was really concerned that the entrance into it wasn't that great. I think I fumbled a little bit on the town entry. Ryan does them really, really well. You've had some experience presenting towns in general, but I feel when I play in your games and you open up a town, it feels natural, like how it would happen. But there were a couple of times I was like, oh, what's going on here? And it felt railroady. So I think
to be fair, a lot of my entering town stuff comes from me reading history books.
I don't read.
I read medieval European history books because at least the kingdom that Braxton is in is based around medieval Europe.
That can help me.
And so I would write the towns how I would read it in there. Like you walk in and it's grimy, gross, dirty, and
he killed like
sounds.
7 people while we entered.
There's only 2 people that have died. He keeps thinking that a bunch of people died in this city. It's only 2.
Maybe you forgot because you've just killed so many people.
Exactly. He's desensitized.
I don't think so.
How is this going to come into play for Romano, man? So I want to start too. Whenever you guys made your characters, I kind of have a better idea for Ryan and Kenneth, I suppose, because I've talked to them more than Zerda.
There's a question for me.
Well, I mean, in general, like for you guys, how much prep did you put in when you made your characters? Like before you talked to me?
I mean, we talked about this on the crawl before.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
I have played the character that I played in his first campaign. Was a ranger. First mistake was a ranger.
Beastmaster?
No, it was. I don't remember what it was anymore.
I think you're just run-of-the-mill ranger, pretty much.
Is Gloomstalker a class?
Yes.
I think that's what I was.
Yeah.
I think that's what I was.
And you were the haunted one.
Yes, so same background as what I have now.
How edgy.
And I had a very similar, without saying too much, I had a very similar kind of backstory as I do for this character. I think I don't know, I am interested in that type of storytelling and that type of experience that can be told through stuff like that. So I unintentionally did it again for this character.
Yeah.
Maybe because I didn't get to live it through that first campaign.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's about the only prep that went into was me thinking about that, thinking about my backstory and about the important characters in my life. And Brax and I have done more since then.
Yes. I want to talk about that real quick before we get to them, just to wrap this up.
Sorry, guys.
Ryan is the type of person that wants to have a lot of tangible, I guess, evidence of the world and whatnot before he really gets into
like
creating
rapid stuff.
Yeah. So there was one night, and I had a lot of work the next day, but I literally started writing at like, I think it was 10 p.m. It didn't stop until 7 a.m.
What?
And then I sent him something.
Yeah, I was very surprised when
Were
I got
you?
that. Yeah, because from what we've talked about in the past for you, that's not something typical.
No.
Of you wrote like diary entries.
Yeah,
from
it was
some
a diary entry
character
from the
in my
point of view of an
backstory.
NPC
I
that
like
lived in
that.
his town to present the town to him, present important NPCs and events as well. And
Yeah.
then until the point of don't ask for these things, I will kill both of
Oh,
you.
I'm not going to.
I'm just kidding. I actually probably
Y'all
would do
just
it at
making
some
me
point.
look bad
Here's
over
the
here
thing.
as a DM.
Well, that's
man.
just how he is as a player, so I wanted to cater to that.
Yeah.
Well, like I would be that way. However, most of the people where Zerda is from cannot read or write.
Yes.
So it wouldn't really work. Also, she can't read or
Fair.
write.
which came up last episode in a really funny way, I think.
Yeah,
With a change.
it's a good time.
What about you? What about your Jamie?
So I knew I wanted to be a disgusting little freak.
She says that she's
From-
mentioned she toned it down.
Right.
Yes. I knew that from the beginning. As soon as you were like, hey, you want to play in this game? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I want to be something fucked up, but like cute. So that's when I went with, started talking to you about, can I do a goblin that looks like a dog, basically? And that's when we
Big
started.
floppy ears.
Yeah, that's when we started doing the Fennec Fox stuff.
Mhm.
I agonized over whether to play Paladin or not.
Really? What was the other
for
option?
Days and days. I was like, I could be a bard. I could be like a wizard, but also like I can't read, so that wouldn't make sense.
But you could always figure it out. That would be interesting.
yeah, it would have been fun.
I like what you landed on.
Yeah, well, my favorite class is cleric. But I was like, I just had this feeling where I was like, I should not play cleric.
Hold on, I have to shout it out. We did an episode on clerics for the Dungeon
Yeah,
Crawl last
literally
time. Please go check it out.
2 days ago, go listen to it.
Sorry, Jamie.
Yeah,
Please continue.
that's my favorite class, and I was just like, I have a feeling that I should not do that. So I'll go to my second favorite, which is Paladin, because I love playing casters, and it's easier for me to play casters.
Yeah.
So, because I just love the responsibility.
His face.
Yeah. So I just went with that, and then when I finally chose it, I remember you sent me, like, you were showing me the map
Mm-hmm.
of the place, and
Oh,
you were
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Oh yeah,
yeah,
you can
yeah.
pick wherever you want to live," and I was like,
She picked the most off-kilter corner of the map island that was great.
"Yeah." And I've talked about it. I was like, "I'm from Chicken or something." I said
From
something
Chicken.
stupid like that. I looked at it and I was like, "Haha, that looks like a bird," and you were like, "Kind of, I guess, yeah." And I was like, "I'm from there," and
It
you were
actually
like,
does.
"Okay, yeah, sure," and I was like, "Great, that's it."
I can't say anything about it, but I'm really excited
Yeah.
for like the background of what she does. If you guys ever go there, like, oh,
Hey, Ryan, let's not go there.
Nah.
Hey,
hey, I
Well,
mean,
it's
let's get off
funny
my
you
back. I don't
mentioned-
have to do a lot of arduous designing.
It's funny.
There's your spoiler.
It's funny you mentioned the deciding what class, because I had no idea what to play either.
Yeah, you were talking about it for a bit.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know if I picked the subclass that I want to. I've talked to Braxton.
And
maybe
ironically, for
change that
cleric,
later.
it's more important because
You get
you
it for
pick it
level
right
one.
away.
Yeah. But I thought about doing like a ranger again. I always pull towards the ranger.
Ryan likes the
even
bad
though-
classes.
Well, because I want to.
No, man, no, I understand about the Ranger, man, because
I
that
want
was
it to be
like
good.
Drake Warden's fun.
Drake
Yeah.
Warden is fun.
just the
wasn't out at
image
the time.
of a Ranger is really good, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, you did Path of the Grave, right?
Yeah, Grave Domain.
See, I was
yeah.
like, if I am cleric, I'm gonna be Grave Domain because it's my favorite,
It's
and
a
that's
good
what one
one.
of my past characters was. But I was like, I just have this feeling.
And we didn't talk at all about.
We didn't talk at all, no.
Who was playing what races?
Oops, all
clerics. Yeah.
They all have healing, and
no, I don't.
well, you have healing for just you.
Yeah.
And to be fair, one of our first big combat fights, I didn't heal Salty once because in my defense,
He's
I thought
punching everything.
I thought I needed a spell slot for something later. It turns out I didn't. But
Well,
I just realized I can't really talk about that magic item stuff. Find the next episode.
What about you, Kenneth?
you chose a third
man,
party class.
all right, my
Gracious of me to let him do that.
all right. Calm down, man.
I mean, it's no Illrigger.
Oh
Oh,
god,
it's no Illrigger, but
No.
it is fun. So Salty is a character that I made the first time Jamie DM'd.
actually, yeah, I guess that's what. But do talk about the
Yeah,
other
I will.
one.
I
yeah.
will. Yeah. So Salty was like the first character I played
Right.
under Jamie, and he was a barbarian, and he was
You based him loosely off of Joseph Joestar.
a little bit.
Ooh.
Yes, and you ran him as Indiana
Jojo.
Jones for a one shot that I made that was in no way catered to Indiana Jones.
Oh,
Was
we've
the
been telling us what
accent the same?
No.
No, it was no, it was not. It was not like that. It was more gruff. But so I played him for a little bit, and then he was a character that I really liked. I just thought about him a little bit. Another one shot we played. That's where I played Salty again, but this time as a pugilist, and I really liked that. It was like a modern day D&D one shot where like we were dads going to a barbecue, and it was.
Did I run that one too?
You did, yes.
Kenneth
It
loves
was
his
a
dads.
birthday party.
Yeah, it was a birthday
It was
party.
a 70s themed birthday party for a 5-year-old.
And I was like,
That's
man,
great.
I'm like, man, this actually feels really good playing this pugilist. But thinking about the Chronicles, sorry. I know the Chronicles. Edit that in post, please cut that.
No, it's in there.
So I was thinking about playing a whole different class because I'm the type of person that likes to know the party comp first and then fill in what we need, right? And I had a character idea brewing about a completely different character.
Yeah.
How much do you want me to talk about this character?
You can talk.
Well, do you think you'll bring him in at
Do you
all?
think you'll bring him in?
They might.
I might, but if I'm going to talk about it, then probably not.
Let's just say I already drew art of this character.
No.
I have things in my Procreate.
Yeah, it's a good thing we didn't do the commission yet. But basically, to truncate it, he and I talked about this character a lot up until we actually started working on stuff.
Yep.
And I could see hints, like he would mention Salty here and there, or that character specifically. And Kenneth does this thing where he'll ask for approval from other people for like big decisions because he likes to mull over things.
Yes.
And I could just sense him being like, should I play this other, should I do it? And I just outright at one point, I'm like, Kenneth, you are more than okay to swap your character. I give you free reign. And
After you talked to him about that, we were driving somewhere and he was like, I think I might play Salty. And I was
yes.
like, okay. And he was like, would that be fine? And I was like, it's your character, dude.
Because like before this, I've been talking about like, hey, this is what I'm trying to think about, like my character, and like just trying to work out personality and like motives and stuff, right? I had all that down, and then like last minute, like a week before we were going to record, I was like, nah, scratch that guy.
Yeah.
We're gonna make this new guy.
Yeah,
been
it was
super fun,
pretty
though.
close.
No, with this party comp, I don't think he would be alive right now. I don't know.
That first encounter would have been way harder.
Yeah.
You were the MVP of those skulls
Honestly,
crushing with that bludgeon
depending
damage.
on how you played him, Zerda would have killed him.
That's fair. I can see that.
Zerda would have killed him.
I can see that. But if Salty ever dies, I might bring this character in. Maybe.
Okay.
But depending on circumstances.
Oh, we've got like a
But-
whole.
So there's a mystery character out there in the world, and they do exist right now.
Yeah.
They've got a whole town, a backstory,
Yeah.
Did he
family.
Did he ever do the voice for you?
Yes. That I started
He would
with a
call me
voice.
sometime.
He
Times
would
and
always
just-
do that voice to me while we were, because we always practice voices in the
It was
car.
only spoiler you guys would get. It's very haughty.
Yeah.
Very hot.
Very
voice.
So
above you.
haughty.
I started with the voice, and then I worked.
Speaking of voices, I was going to ask you,
Ooh.
you kind of brought it up. Did you guys know what voice you wanted to do when we
Well,
before
we're
we started, or
still
did it just kind of
working on it.
happen?
I tried for days and days and days. I would be driving home in the middle of the night and I'd just be like, what am I going to do? And I'd try like a million different voices because I have another goblin character who's a dude and he had like a very southern deep accent. And I was like, well, I can't do that. That doesn't fit. I could not find an accent until like the day of. And I was like, oh yeah, I might do this. Totally forgot. And then I just went with whatever first came out.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I practiced my accent.
Here comes Salty.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah. Here comes Salty. Because I think I did that accent for the second, like the pugilist iteration of him,
Yeah, you did.
and I don't know, it just
It
stuck.
was very fun.
And at that point, when I made Salty, I didn't watch Critical Role, so I didn't think about
Oh, yeah.
a half orc
Yeah.
or a Goliath barbarian, right? Like I didn't know those. Like that's how they kind of talked a little bit. And it just kind of stuck with me. But yeah, I had a voice. Usually I start with a voice and then I make a character around that voice.
Everybody's got their, first step. I think for both of you, I don't think as much for Jamie. I think just some microphone etiquette, but you guys both had really grovelly voices, so I needed to be like, we might need to listen and adjust the how our consonants sound and whatnot. And I think we've fallen in a really good spot. Yeah. My voice is on the other hand. I think my NPCs have jumbled around a lot. I've tried to keep a general pitch and accent for each person, but they've not
It's
been very
easy to
consistent.
jumble.
It's very easy to jumble. I would love to make it to the points where you guys can tell right away, but as evident from some of the episodes, it's not easily apparent. So
Yeah,
I'll
I
take
think
that.
last episode, Jamie was like, "Is it this guy?" And you're like, "No, it's
No,
this
it's
guy."
this
And
guy.
she's like, "I thought it sounds like that guy." And you're like, "No, it's this guy."
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's also I don't just play a idiot, so sometimes I do need to have my hand held.
To be fair, it was kind of hard to tell. I do think.
You play an idiot, but you do like some out of the box
Okay,
thinking.
Yeah, there's several characters in the town that think she's
Yeah.
smart as a attack.
Well, the thing is, she's wise because she's not smart. Like, she can't infer things, and she can't just like look at something and be like, "Oh, this must do this." Like, she'll look at something and be like, "I have no knowledge of this thing until I see it in action."
Well, not even like talking to NPCs, just like things you do in like combat is like just pretty like out of the box thinking. Like, you don't run up and hit someone.
I literally just do like, I'm thinking as her, and I'm like, what seems fun, and that's all I do.
There you go.
Like when I rode down the stairs,
Oh my gosh.
I was just doing that because I was like, this is something I would do as a kid, and it's really fun when you don't have old bones.
So that fight, particularly with those sailors,
So
when
fun.
Ryan downed a guy, and there was just a sensitive topic about Ryan killing people. Salty had a talk
I
with
have that in
him.
the back of my pocket.
He
don't
did.
worry.
He did. No, he did. But the literal next turn, Zerda took
She
this
didn't
possessed
know.
coat. She didn't know. No, she didn't know.
Yeah.
She took this possessed coat of this pirate captain who is currently possessing his old crew, which is why they're fighting them right now. So this guy's downed, and theoretically, if he takes damage instances, each one of those is a fail. And she's going down a flight of stairs with a lot of stairs in them. And Ryan looks at me and he goes, "Is this guy, like, what happens?" And I did a quick ruling because it was not actually them they were hurting, but the spirit within.
Mm-hmm.
So it hurt his connection to them. I could have ruled it to where they just died, but
It would have been funny because Zerda would not have understood.
it was really dark for a second. I was
Yeah.
like, you could have killed all of them.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so into it. I was like, if you kill all these people, it'll be so fun for me as a person.
Oh no.
Because I love that
That's scary.
really fucked up shit.
Oh my God. I mean, well, I'll take it into consideration,
But
but
it's
like,
also like her child,
boy.
wonder of like, oh, I just went down these stairs and yeah, there's a fight going on, but I'm gonna do it again because that was fun. And it turns out that you being silly killed like 10 people.
And
That's
Salty
so
told you
fun.
to do it again.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's so fun.
all the irony there, dramatic irony,
Well,
might I add.
even if like, so I think at the end of the session before that, I said, "Oh, this jacket's probably cursed." I don't know if I said that off mic.
Well,
or
I think
not.
it was off mic. Yeah.
It might have been off mic, but it's because Brian was like, "You're just going to give your players that?" And to be fair, I didn't know everything the jacket
Unbelievable.
could do, but so now he has it. I gave him a trial to earn it. It's okay. It's okay, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
No, you can give your players
Wait, I
not
thought it-
everything they want, but you can take items away too.
I thought it lost its power after the soul left.
No, Bowser though.
Oh,
Power
okay.
is still there.
That's why at the end of the fight, I was like, well, that was fun. I did not know that it was still magical.
I mean, hell, if it lets me make combat harder, though it's kind of hard to balance if only one character has an insane item, so we'll see how it
18
goes.
health over here.
Yeah.
That's your choice.
Yeah, how do
and
you
the
feel-
dice's
That's not my choice. I didn't choose to roll poorly on my health.
No, you can take the
You
average.
take the average,
Yeah.
which is slightly higher
But,
than that.
I guess that's my choice at that point.
But going off that, how do you feel playing Romano? How do you feel playing like a cleric? Like, how does it feel with all the stuff that we've
Yeah,
done
this
so
is
far?
Yeah,
your
how do you
time
feel
now.
stealing my favorite class from
Put
me?
the spotlight on you.
I like it because
Good.
I hope that I'm trying not to play it like a stereotypical cleric either. He's not like a very good godly man. Which actually we talked about on the most recent Crawl
did.
episode. But he's not a godly guy. When we had a good conversation about the deities, about that he doesn't really like him, and I could see his face go,
Man, I wish we had the background that I wrote for that conversation. That would have been really interesting.
Yeah.
what?
The background that I wrote
Oh,
for that
yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
I'm sure we'll have more, but
But I think it's an interesting dynamic that we all have because of it.
yeah.
And so I think the problem that I have with it so far is because my wisdom is not my highest stat.
Yeah.
My DC is low.
That'll get you.
So I have been picking spells that don't require DC. So I'm picking like AoE healing spells or spells that just happen. And
Did you put his wisdom low on purpose?
A little bit, yeah. I thought he'd be more charismatic than wise,
See,
and so I can make wisdom higher later.
I love making my characters' stats based on the character personality
That's how it
instead
would
of
be.
what they should be.
That's why my con is so low.
It bothers Kenneth though, because I have a paladin whose charisma is very, very low.
So low.
But God, are they a wonderful character?
He's so good though, and I made him like that on purpose because he's still strong. His spells don't always work, but he's still strong.
Braxton's the same way. He likes min-maxing his characters.
Me too, man.
The way it is for me is I feel terrible because theoretically the monsters in the monster manual, and a lot of them that are designed are min-maxed. You know, they don't give them things that don't make sense unless somebody's just doing it to spite people. So I feel like it's a purposeful handicap if I don't choose the right things. It's not wrong to do it the other way.
But it's fun in RP.
It is fun.
Yeah.
I just feel bad when I know I could have made a single 10-second decision to raise my AC by 1 point.
For example, there was a moment where as much effort as I put into Ormano, and the passion of my own life, putting him into Ormano, I would have been okay with him dying in this certain instance that I feel like in my mind is like, okay, if he dies here, he dies, you know? But Braxton was in the moment, and things happened, and I could have rolled good.
Hey, it's a pocket dimension, maybe.
Well, either way, I could have rolled fine. But point being that I like failure as an RP mechanic and having cool stories come out.
I think that's something I'm gonna have to get into my brain because I feel bad killing you guys.
Well, the thing is, like, if I have a bad stat and I succeed still, that makes the success even better because I'm not good at that thing.
That is true.
But also, if I'm not good at that thing and I fail and I die, I still died trying my best, and it makes that character that much more tragic. Because it's like she wasn't good at it, but she still tried.
Kenneth, he's
I'm
contradiction.
To kind of agree with Braxton here a little bit.
You literally killed one of my characters.
No, I'm not talking about that. Like, killing characters is fine, but the monsters are going to do what the monsters are going to do best, right? And you can make stats like a low con like bard or like a low charisma bard, and that's fine. Like, you can play your character like that, but you can also have a very high charisma bard and have them like bumbling around, but they're like their magnet, like their presence is kind of large, right? Like, I don't think you're beholden to your stats with the roleplay because that's why you have your ideals, bonds, flaws, all that stuff.
No, I agree.
I can see that.
I mean, there's no wrong way to play.
Whatever way you see the stats.
Well, because I was also thinking that he's not, he's wise, but he's a semi-ish new cleric to this thing. So he's still learning these abilities. That's also why I don't use my amulet as my spell focus. I use the actual spell components.
Okay,
Still learning.
Yeah, still learning.
Okay.
Another thing to point out about stats, numbers in general, and levels is that 20 is the max level for a character in base D&D. And with rolling for your points, a character out of the start having a 20 in a stat is theoretically ungodly. And I'm seeing that thing blinking again, so I think we need to end this soon.
What?
I think that's battery indicator.
No, that's not. Battery indicator's down over right next to it. This says 24 minutes and it's blinking.
All right, cool.
What's up,
We'll keep
guys?
going, but to run this point home,
Can we just stand right next to it?
it takes
your
4
face.
or so levels to be able to even increase an ability score again. And with how important spell save DC can be, and just getting that one extra point, it really does feel like you go up an entire tier.
To me, it just feels bad, right? Like,
it does.
Like, if you have like your main stat is like not your highest or like it's kind of low, it just feels bad because the rest of your team, if they didn't build it like that, then like everyone's like failing on their saves, but everyone's succeeding on yours.
Yeah.
I see that, but also to me, that's where you really have to kill it in the RP.
Yeah,
Well, and think of different ways in combat. Like I feel like I was casting Sanctuary on you guys in the first few sessions, and the creatures would always pass it. So well, this is a pointless spell for me to use. So I started using more of my other type, like just raising your AC, or like I gave you the extra Constitution or something.
What is it? Adapt?
Bears and enhanceability,
and then focus on using my spear as more of a combat weapon instead, spiritual weapon. That
it
type
does
of stuff.
make people think about the game differently, and I like it for that reason. I think it comes down to what kind of player are you in mindset, and like Kenneth and I mean, I don't know if you identify as a min-maxer,
On some things I do, yeah.
Yeah, but just by default, I mean, we were watching Hoarders before. It's a mental illness. They just think of things differently, and Kenneth and I think of things differently than Jamie and Ryan do. They just value different sorts of play.
Like if you have a two-handed weapon, right, and you're like a fighter, why wouldn't you take Great Weapon Master?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So some people don't like being pigeonholed into those meta things, that sort of stuff.
And I'm the type of person that, like, if I go into a video game that's like kind of MMORPG or anything like that, like I'm playing WoW Classic again right now, going into the Burning Crusade, I'm like looking up like what are the best spells for this or what are the best talents for this thing, while other people are like, I'm just playing along, and I do that too. But I get it in my head that I'm like, I could be doing better right now. Like I could have more efficiency.
I play WoW with him, and I chose really bad skills to be doing because I was like, oh, this is fun, and he was like, why are you doing that? And I was like, okay, great.
I think a Path of Exile would kill the two of you because if you don't look up an exact build order for your character, you can just screw over your entire time.
Really?
See, those kinds of things, I don't like those.
Meandering like crazy.
Well, that's the difference between a video game that has a predetermined, like, definite statistical best way to do stuff in real life, where it's everybody's doing this for the first time.
Yeah.
Unless, you're a time traveler or something.
We see you out there.
We got time travelers listening to our podcast.
Well, I mean,
why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they?
Well, I mean, if they're in the future and they're binging this all,
that's a good sign, man.
They
want
to see it again.
Right there.
Yeah, that makes
if you're in the future and binging this, then go back in time to when we released it and rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
yeah.
Boost our
If you're in the future
discoverability.
binging this, leave a comment about something really obscure that, like we say in this video.
Only real 20-30 kids will know.
Yeah.
It's like that meme on
ew.
Me IRL where it's the old dude and he's in like yellow, green, and purple fanning out, and it says, "You don't get this reference yet. The meme hasn't come out." I don't think anybody at this table knows what I'm talking about, but if you're on Me IRL, you know.
the thing.
You might have seen it.
I don't know. I know really weird shit.
So I want to wrap this up because we're about an hour, and I don't think you guys realize
really?
that. Yep.
47 minutes.
47. We could keep going. I think we're at a good point. So yeah.
Well, I have
Oh,
one real
yeah,
quick
no, it's
one
good.
question
Yeah,
for you.
go for
I
it,
had a
man.
question and I forgot it. Let me try to remember.
We didn't ask Braxton any questions.
Yeah, well,
Oh
you're
shit!
doing that.
Never mind. We're not ending this at all.
Where do
Oh, I know.
you see the campaign going?
Fuck you!
from
That's
here?
what I was gonna ask you guys.
That
Sorry
was
about
not
peeking.
my
That's
question.
actually a good question, though, because I actually asked you that at dinner the other night.
Yeah, for one of my.
You guys went to dinner with...
You guys had a secret dinner?
Sorry, yeah, we went to Olive Garden.
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
What's up with that one?
I remember because I was like,
Kenneth,
Kenneth, let's go to Olive Garden. And he was like, no, it sucks.
Fuck Olive Garden.
What was this conversation?
you don't remember?
Where do you think the campaign
It was a
is
similar
going?
question to him. I was just I'll add on to it. So you know,
Oh, you what? My head?
whoa!
All right.
I'll ask mine too, so you can connect them together. So
Okay.
mine was, how long do you think each campaign would like? What are you aiming for?
So
lengthwise.
a general answer I've given Kenneth and Ryan, so now Jamie, you can receive this answer as well, is
you.
less
That
than
is not my
100
question.
episodes. A lot of these podcasts do it for an indeterminate amount of time, and I don't know what I feel for it. And I think the pacing currently is slower than what the rest of the episodes will actually be once they leave way more. So I'm kind of pushing to go towards that. I would say
level wise.
whatever you guys get to in those episodes.
Okay.
I just kind of say you guys level up when I feel it because it's
Yeah, but I
milestones.
mean, like, do you think?
I think I would handle 14 as like at the absolute max.
I'm trying to think
Okay,
like
yeah.
how fast we level up in comparison to those. you
Yeah.
know?
For some reason, 60 episodes kind of getting in my brain, but I don't know how or where.
That's that seems like a good.
But
Like
12
a good
right
even
now, I
number.
think.
Yeah. So maybe.
That's a
And
lot
it's
of
also
room.
it's also important to remember that those other podcasts that do 100 episodes, they're like 4-hour episodes
They're
apiece.
4-hour episodes.
Ours are
and
2.
They're also getting paid for each episode that they put out.
It's also true.
If you guys want to help us do that, we don't have any way for you to do that. I'm just kidding. We don't have Patreon. No, totally.
But do you want to like? I mean, so let's say we're at 50 episodes, and you see we're not really that close. Are you gonna try to,
No.
hammer it?
No.
Okay,
Oh, you just want to be natural?
Yeah.
that's the way to do
Want
it.
to work. I mean, taking inspiration from Gravity Falls. Just the
Nice.
execution on that.
Haven't seen it. Haven't seen it.
So
So have no
It's
input.
good.
So good.
So I want it to be what it needs to, like regardless of if it's incredibly
Don't turn
popular
into
or
an
not.
office where you keep
No.
releasing seasons.
Wait, here's a question. If we get a TPK, is that the end campaign, or would you want us to make new characters
good
and
question.
like go throughout the world, or is that just like that's the
There's
end of
two
the
things we
campaign,
could
or
do.
doing
I
something
might
else?
do a write up and we just present that as like a little bit of an episode.
Okay.
I kind
and
of
do we
like
just say it?
That's it.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just say how the world
Like in my
goes.
my last campaign, it fell apart. There wasn't a TPK. It just fell apart, and we ended up doing another campaign like 6 months later.
Yeah.
Same world, just 10 years apart. And so the
Okay.
last party failed, and so they kind of saw what happened.
Yeah.
And the only two of my players are the same, so they're like, this is not how it was before.
I'd probably lean towards that because
That'd be cool.
technically,
the
and-
next campaign would be somebody else, right?
yeah, it would be somebody else unless everybody's too busy and we just decide to go with the same person. But yeah,
And we want
prefer
you to
swap.
suffer.
Yeah, because I've never seen Jamie DM. I've heard stories.
It's a good time, depending on what season it is.
stories.
I've
He
heard
says.
stories. So
Good or
we'll
bad
get to that.
ones?
at some point. Good ones. She's just really creative and does things like a bit differently than other people do.
Do you like horror?
I would love to do that.
I
Ravenloft.
have done. I
Ravenloft.
did a Halloween one
It's
shot.
out now, actually, already.
That was all body horror.
Okay.
What's the screen say, Ryan?
What does it
I
say?
don't know. Can it do another clap for me, please?
3, 2, 1.
I apologize. This is our first time, like I said. For some reason, it stopped. It's been
fine.
stopped automatically.
Wow. Okay. Well,
So we have 3 different video
Let's-
files for me to edit to.
now wrap this up.
No, I think it stops at half an hour for some reason.
That's weird.
So weird.
Okay. Well, I
I
kind
don't
of
want
want
to
to.
interrupt what you're saying.
What was I saying?
Are we gonna do
No,
this
but
again? Because I have questions for you.
Ask him
Yeah.
a question now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I have 2 questions.
Yeah. What's up?
What? Okay, so the first one I was gonna ask you at the beginning of this, and then I totally forgot until literally just now.
Okay. Good.
Have you DM'd before?
Very
Not extensively. Very little. I've done like 2 episodes of a campaign and like one shot.
Yeah, it shows.
Okay.
Joking.
Contrary to Kenneth, I was actually gonna say it feels like you've been DMing for a long time.
Hey, let's
He's got some
Because
good teachers.
I think-
That's very true.
Yeah, I couldn't remember
Please,
properly,
teacher.
but I think I remember
Funny.
Kenneth telling me at the beginning, like, yeah, Braxton he doesn't really DM. He hasn't DM'd like for serious that much.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, okay. So I definitely came in with an expectation, and then you just like started, and I was like, he's DM'd before.
Well,
Oh,
we
yeah.
we kind of
Obviously.
chose you for that purpose because we we thought it'd be interesting to go from the crawl where it's always the DM player mechanic, but we've been kind of semi teaching Braxton for the past I don't know like 60 episodes at the
And
time,
it's been working.
and so would that be fun if
say
we're like,
so.
all right, here you go, and now we can talk about it on the podcast, see how it goes.
Yeah.
Crawl works.
The crawl works.
Well, what I will say, if you're, the small audience base that listens to this episode or this part of our podcast that we produce, and you aren't watching Crawl for some reason, because I don't know where you guys come from, please let us know. I don't know how you find us.
The void.
Go
Please
check it
let
out
us know, 'cause that's
because
actually
it has helped.
yeah.
I would honestly say, and I do now that I've started DMing, I learn a lot when I do one shots from different people, and I see Kenneth DM and I see Ryan DM. So playing in different games as a DM is really important.
Or
Just
watching
as much.
games too.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be into D&D if Taz didn't come around to me.
I mean, it's
quite
tough.
frank.
It's tough once you have a lot less time on your hands
Yeah.
to watch 4-hour episodes
Very
every
true.
week, and you're watching multiple ones. But even just like going to the first episode of one and just kind of scrubbing through it, it's interesting to see how everyone DMs, how different people
Yeah.
approach subjects.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jamie. I have a lot of fun with it. It's stressful, but
I also have one more question.
Yeah.
Are we going to meet Paste again?
Paste is
Spoiler
out there.
question.
I have a lot of theories about Paste.
Pace is out there. So if you guys don't remember, in the cares they were in originally, there were a
First
few.
episode.
Yeah, there were a few characters there. There was Ass Hat, who became
Franklin.
Yeah, it became a big villain in the first couple episodes.
Fuck that guy.
They ended up quelming that. And there was this hooded figure that I think healed Jamie after she got
He
hit.
put
Yes.
some sort of ointment on Zerda,
Mhm.
and Zerda was like, "Oh, he put a paste on me." His name, I'm calling him
And I
Paste.
think I mentioned they had scales on their hand,
yes.
and that was it. That's
And-
literally it.
Zerda has been obsessed.
Everything has a reason.
Talking about that, I thought it was armor, but now I'm
No.
thinking that
You did
he
ask if it was
is-
scale mail. You literally asked,
Mhm.
like
You
me,
did,
does it
yeah.
look like scale mail?
went in one ear out the other.
It's been a while. So yeah. I mean, these
I-
characters out. I'm trying to make sure that my world has continuity. That's something I want to really run home. I love the stories that make it seem like, did this author write the ending first and plan all this out way in
9
advance?
times out of 10, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of trying to.
D&D's a little harder for that,
That's
but
what
It
I
is
talked
much
to you
harder.
about in the one shot episode that I was on, when I was talking about how they build skeletons of the story first, and then you fill it
Check
in.
that one out.
and
Jamie kind
our
of leads
world
the.
building episode with
Yeah.
fantasy authors, that was pretty fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Wasn't-
Yeah. I mean, do you guys have any other questions for me? I didn't think that you would.
What do you mean? Why wouldn't we?
I don't know. I just
You're
forgot.
asking
Why are you
us
such a
questions.
I forgot I
Damn,
existed.
man. That's rough, buddy.
Yeah. That's how it is. It's been a
Any other
blast.
Yo,
The fuck?
what do you think about any guest people coming on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'd have to, make a new layout and stuff like that. It would take some extra effort.
All right.
It'll be tougher too once we're in an actual permanent place.
Yeah. But I would do it. Why?
Oh, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, for sure.
Just wanted to ask.
We know some people.
Throw it out there.
Well, it's also tough. I think it's
Matt Mercer. Come on.
Oh my god.
I think it's tough to do a guest thing in this format because you got to get to know the characters that the staple characters, the three of us.
Yeah.
But then if you toss in someone that you also still don't really know, before you know everyone else, it's like, well, now there's too many faces.
It wouldn't be too big of a deal. It would be an NPC that you guys have either heard a good bit amount of before, and I know they're not going to be in it for too long, and they can just jump in and jump out. It wouldn't be.
I like that.
It wouldn't be entirely random.
Well, I mean more of the fact that we need to get established before.
Yeah, not anytime soon, for sure. But yeah, in the future.
Yeah.
Cool.
One last question. After the campaign's done, do you think we'd stick with D&D or what do you feel?
I don't think we're so big that swapping systems would really hurt, but I think we would feel the non-D&D part of it. I'd like to, but does it make sense for people that are wanting to get
small
bigger?
things in between?
Oh my god, yeah, we could do one-shots and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
feel
god.
like going again to the adventure zone stuff where they did like different game systems in between.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun, and I'm down with that.
Yeah,
maybe just short 10 episodes, 20 episodes of some other Call of Cthulhu system.
There's definitely a lot of people out there that are like, oh hell yeah,
Cthulhu.
because there's a good bit of people in those communities that just don't get catered to.
Yeah.
So,
What if I ran
and
through?
Kenneth has like Merkborg and a bunch of other stuff that he would love to do.
No, I just think that tabletop RPGs are not just D&D 5th edition.
And I've literally never played any other one, so I would love to do that. Because I've seen some rules from 3.5e and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, they're
I could learn
juicy
how
stuff.
to run us through Call of Cthulhu.
Ooh. I like Cthulhu
That
stuff.
is my shit.
I've only ever seen that one old game
So
of it.
good.
Like the video game,
Call of Cthulhu.
very different from the tabletop.
Video game for like
It's also not
Lovecraft
based.
stuff.
Actually, I think it is based on tabletop systems, but
Yeah.
I
You
don't
roll a
think it's-
D100.
That's spooky. Oh my god, we saw a big brass D100 or whatever it was in our local game store. It's about those LGS.
LGS, baby.
That's what I would say. It was a chonker. Yeah. All right, Ryan, I guess, did you have a question for me?
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan.
Was I supposed to?
No. Yeah. No?
Think of one right now. Think of a
I
question.
kind of asked you one earlier.
You
Think of a
did.
question.
Do you have
What's the
one
question?
more?
So Braxton,
I swear to God.
when you write stuff,
It's sounding good so far,
how do
buddy.
you write stuff? No. Actually, I do. I got one.
I'm glad you got the iTunes thing out earlier because this would have gotten me so bad.
Ooh.
How much? We've done our world building episode on the crawl and stuff. How much would you say you've world builded behind the scenes? Putting you on the spot.
None.
Yeah, my guess is not much.
I have a general. I have my.
Because I know what Braxton is.
You showed us the map, and
Yeah. No, so I mean, they haven't seen much, but in regards to the general idea of what I've got right now is motives for BBEG, general world and how it might go, because the players can obviously alter that. Main towns they could be able to go to now. I've really fleshed out a different city entirely, and it probably shows currently through. What
I
we're
did
doing.
find it funny. Braxton told me that he fleshed out this area we'd heard about from Tintin. And I was like, that's the exact opposite side of the world. He just got inspired, but still, it's just humorous.
Yeah.
So nothing logically. I just kind of plan as we go. And I'm pretty decent at improving and making things. I'm terrible at taking notes and remembering them.
You gotta if you're world building while you're improving.
Yeah.
But you got the receipts.
I do have the receipts.
Yeah, we
So I
keep
have
telling
the
him that,
receipts.
but he doesn't go listen to him.
And it's just hard to find things. Because
Just
they're
scroll.
long recordings. What are you
Scrub
looking
it
at
up.
me? It's hard to find
I'm
them.
listening.
Get
to
your
you.
memory
It's
down,
hard.
man.
That's true.
Well, I'm
Control F.
That's true. Well, no, it's audio. It's audio.
Yeah, so do what I do.
You
Listen to every episode and take your notes.
You listen to the whole episode?
I listen to the entire episode and take notes.
How is it? How is it?
So good.
Hey!
I'm actually
How is
really
it?
enjoying it.
There we
I
go.
added it to my queue of my binges.
Quit.
Was your Brax is definitely different than me, and like I world build like crazy.
I would. I just, the only time I've been able to, and this is just part of my brain right now that I should go to therapy for, or psychology or something. I just have a hard time focusing on things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's
See,
a big part of it.
I have that, but also I hyper focus because I started a campaign and then had a problem player, and I quickly ended that campaign because fuck that. and I wrote like 6 pages on the history of the currency.
Holy boy.
It was actually really fucking good.
I mean, I believe it.
It was great, and then I just like that campaign went nowhere.
Yeah.
See, I'm the complete opposite. I just go like session by session.
No, he does, and it's actually kind of impressive. He did like a 15-minute writing sesh before the part of the campaign I jumped in on. He had 7 people. They've been running it for a long time, and he didn't look at his notes but like twice for monster stats. And he had like these monologues and key events that had happened, not just things he was throwing out of his ass, but
he practices them at work.
A little bit. Sometimes.
How
Not
cute.
In the car, he'll be like, "Here's some things I could say," and
How
then I'll
cute.
just.
Oh, that's a
call
good way
and
to do
talk
it.
to him.
yeah, car is a sacred
When
place.
I did delivery for like Uber and stuff back in the day, that's what I would drive around and practice different voices.
Aw.
Yeah.
I do
It's
that
good.
sometimes.
It's a good time.
And now I've got my own apartment, so nobody can hear me.
See,
you go.
what I found out, I used to be like Ryan or like you, Braxton, where I would like plan out a ton of stuff, like just world build.
plan too much.
And I found out that for me, it would lessen the effect of the actual session that I'm having, because I wouldn't plan too much for that session because I would be too busy like world building.
That's true.
So
Yeah, I try not to world build too much. If I have an idea, I'll write it down. But otherwise, I plan a session and key events that could happen, and then tendencies for me to improv.
But like, props to you, Ryan, if you're just building like world building and also planning the next session. Like,
Well, to be fair, a lot of my world building's already happened.
yeah,
So in the 6 months between campaigns, I world builded like crazy,
yeah, that's
and so
smart.
I pull a lot of like ideas and stuff from that.
yeah.
I still write new things, but
It's a balance between wanting there to be enough writing so that it's meaningful, but enough room so that it.
I
feels
write
fun.
stories, like actual like stories in my
That's
world.
what I
Yeah.
did for you,
Yeah.
and I kind of enjoyed
So
it.
I
Yeah.
come from kind of like a fantasy author background.
It's like this.
I wanted to do it
Skyrim
for a long time,
thing.
but
how you
yeah.
can get all the Skyrim books and read them.
Mhm.
That's
Yes.
kind of what I was going for when I wrote all of that fucking money history.
I love giving books to my players that I've
It's so-
written for,
it's so good.
especially if they ask for. I'm like, yeah, here, have this that I
Yeah.
worked on.
Yeah.
I definitely admire that. I would love
so
to be able
cool.
to. And now that I've gotten better at being a DM, I know what's useful to me, so I could be able
Now,
to
and
make
now
stuff
that you're here, you can give us physical stuff. Once we're like in an actual
Handouts, can
in-person
you do
thing.
handouts?
Jamie
I guess I
loves
should.
handouts.
I
Dude,
love
handouts are
handouts.
so
I don't have
fun.
a printer.
Print it in my
I'll
place.
buy you I will personally buy you a printer.
Printers are cheap, man.
Expensive. I could print at your place. There's also one in the leasing office that I'm like 2 feet from.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's fair.
Don't tell Jamie.
But those are fun, man.
Buy me a printer.
Flashing
What?
again.
What?
I don't understand the steals. Okay, we should wrap it up. I don't know. I don't understand the steals.
We're just waffling at this
It's whatever. It's
point.
whatever. Okay, so the camera's about to die.
No, it's not. It's not. It's that
Okay,
flat.
every time it does that, something bad happens.
I know, but that's the.
doesn't matter. Every
It
time it does
flashes
it,
at
something bad
11
happens.
minutes. I think it just. I don't know what it's doing.
I don't know. We need to.
Jesus.
Hey, we may
There might be an
open
auto
things
turn off timer
for
that I-
supporting us because we put a lot more time
I
into
never
this now.
recorded half-hour things at a
So
time.
we'll see what goes on in the future. But this has been our first waffle sesh of whatever we call this for the episode. Ryan, we're
The
gonna think about that.
Dungeon
Don't
Waffles.
The Dungeon Talks.
the Dungeon Waffle.
Waffle Chronicles.
Waffle Chronicle. I mean,
The
come on.
Chronicles.
That's pretty good though.
The Chronicle.
Yeah, the Chronicles. The CCs.
The CCs.
Chronicling the Chronicle.
CC's Waffles.
I don't know. We'll think about it. If
we'll
you have any
think about it.
suggestions, you won't be able to
Title-
tell us because the
Well,
episode
just like when we did
Title
the,
pending.
yeah, just like when we did the first episode of Dungeon Chronicles.
Oh, that was
we had no
embarrassing.
idea what it was called. and just like this.
Dungeon Chronicle, Dungeon
Tales.
Tales, whatever the hell it
Oh
was.
yeah, we said Dungeon Tales.
It's not
We
Dungeon
did, yeah,
Chronicle,
first
Dungeon
episode.
Tales or something like
You
that.
just gotta be like, thanks for listening to. I'll add it in post.
And
It's
then in
whatever.
post, you just hear something. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. I've been your DM Braxton. These people as well, if they want to introduce themselves. I don't know.
Wait, what?
Kenneth,
You'll
Jamie,
start
right?
over.
We're just- listen.
What's happening?
Listen, it's like 12 at night. It's 12 at night. I've had a lot going on. The AC guy said, whatever the hell he said at the beginning of this. I don't
Shout
know,
out to
my
Joe.
brain. Shout
Shout
out to Joe.
Joe Manganiello. He's got a cool.
Jamie Kenneth
It
Ryan
does.
or Mono Salty Zerda, thank you.
Signing
Yeah,
off.
you're welcome.
Oregano.
Thanks for. Yep.
Bye, y'all.
So again,
We have social media. It's
Yeah,
at
shout
Dungeon
it
Crawl
out.
Pod, Twitter and Instagram. I usually post clips of the episodes every time. A little audiogram for you. We also have a Discord. A lot of people run one shots. If you want to jump
Linktree.
in, experience that. Linktree is the link of whatever you're doing down below here. Email thedungeoncrawlpod@gmail.com. Sorry, it's all Dungeon Crawl stuff. I know this is Chronicles. Doesn't matter as much. Ryan,
it's rated 5 stars on iTunes, guys.
do it.
I said it earlier.
Did.
No, go ahead, Ken.
It's Umano. I would,
There you go.
I don't know where I am. I'm at this weird table. But it would really mean a lot to
Oh my God.
Calibor and
third time we're doing this.
Jurgle that you rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. All right, I gotta go crawl in my box now and
Come on,
sleep.
Dungeon crawl.
Oh, they're salty. I gotta go get beat up by him. He's so strong and handsome, and I'm just so pale and lanky.
Damn.
Sunkissed skin.
Sunkissed skin.
Last thing is we won't be, like I said, no episode next week. Probably we might do a one shot. Who knows?
We'll see.
And then we'll continue on May 31st with the live show,
Episode 13.
episode 13, and we'll finally get to see what happens with Zerta getting.
That's a lucky
throttled in
number,
the
isn't it?
air.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah, sorry, we kind of
Really
did this
teasing
on
you
the
guys.
biggest cliffhanger
I
thus
really
far.
get myself into trouble.
Actually, I think that is.
And thanks for telling me you guys are okay with me killing your characters now.
I told
Oh
you
yeah,
already,
yeah.
yeah.
Please
I'm
do.
super good.
Oh shit.
Well, because if we don't, if,
Yeah.
as we said in our death and resurrection episode on the dungeon crawl, if death isn't an option, then what's the point of
There's no
life?
stakes.
You gotta have stakes, man.
I love
Gotta
steak.
stay-
Big
Thanks.
juicy rare one.
Thanks for
Take
listening.
care. Goodbye.
Bye.
Get the fuck out.
Hey,
Everybody. Jesus Christ.
don't put that in there.